What is going on, YouTube? This is your boy Jordan JC back again on the ATS report, and reports are stating that Zach Lavine could be on the move. Is this his swan song? Are we seeing the last few weeks or months of Zach Lavine in a Bulls jersey? We don't know. Let's talk about it though. Daniel Greenberg on Twitter stating, per Shams Charania and also the rally, is that the Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Philadelphia 76ers are expected to show interest in trading for Chicago Bulls guard star Zach Lavine. My thoughts on it is I think it's time. I love Zach Lavine as a player. You love what he brought to the team many years in Chicago, where he has become a star, an all-star of sorts as well. You saw that he elevated his game from his days in Minnesota, of not just being known as an athletic type of player, someone that can kind of get up and dunk on people. We know that he's continued to add parts to his game to be an all-around scorer, three-level scorer that you can rely on most times. But one of the knocks on Zach Lavine is that he is not the type of player that you can build a championship team around. Meaning, if he were the first person or the first, let's say, go-to guy on your team, you're probably not expecting to win it all. There's only maybe a handful of players in the league that you can say that about. And Zach Lavine, unfortunately, is not one of them. And so the Chicago Bulls are probably trying to drum up some business and seeing what kind of interest these other teams are having in him and what sort of trade packages they can get back for the future of this team. Because right now we know that the Chicago Bulls are kind of mid. Let's just be honest. The team, fun to watch, entertaining at times, but they've always had this fluctuating type of game where they're really good one moment, then they're bad other moments. They beat good teams, but then they lose to worse teams, or they beat the worst teams and then they come out losing to the good teams every now. Like it's this back and forth with the Bulls. There's no consistency, no continuity. And in my opinion, I think that has something to do with the coaching. I think Billy Donovan is a great players coach, but I don't think he's a championship coach at the NBA level. But going back to Zach Lavine, Zach Lavine has kind of started out very slow this season. A lot of times I've talked to PK about this from the Windy City Breeze, and PK Talks NBA. Shout out to him. That Zach Lavine looks as if he's kind of humming the season right now. It looks as if maybe he wants to be a step foot or a foot out the door and looking at other potential teams that are in better situations to be in the championship or in the playoffs to contend for that championship. And I think Zach Lavine is at a point in his career where he probably desires that rather than being the number one guy on a mediocre team. And that's what the Bulls are. We can be honest and just say that the Bulls are a mediocre team. You know who the Bulls actually remind me of? I don't know if you all remember back in the day, even the Derrick Rose years, I want to say mid-2000s. The Atlanta Hawks had Josh Smith, Joe Johnson, Jamal Crawford, Jeff Teague. They had a bunch of players, Al Horford. That team was stacked with talent. And yet, every time it got time for them to take it to the next level, be in the playoffs, they were mid. They didn't get the job done. And so the roster seemed good on paper, but they couldn't complete the job. And so that's what I think we have here with this Bulls team. Talking about the potential suitors, Philadelphia 76ers, that's a team that I don't really see anything good coming back because now that James Harden is gone from that team, I don't really think, obviously, they're going to get rid of Joel Embiid for Zach Lavine. That's not going to happen, obviously. I don't even think Tyrese Maxey is someone who is touchable. I think he's untouchable because you just saw his scoring performance not too long ago, the 50-point performance that he had. So I think that now that James Harden is gone, they're really going to build around him and Joel Embiid. And so I don't really see anybody that I personally would prefer that the Bulls get back unless you're talking about draft picks galore. And even then, that's not something that I think they would be interested in. And so maybe on the lower level, you look at a Philadelphia. Then you also look at a team like Miami Heat, who kind of fizzled out and didn't get Dame Lillard like they thought they would. And Pat Riley is continuously trying to improve this team to see who they can get outside of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo to go to. And I think Zach Lavine as that maybe second tier or second scoring option, I should say, behind Jimmy. And even most nights probably would be the first scoring option because we know Jimmy likes to defer and really commit to defense. And so does Bam. And so having him on a team like Miami, but also getting Tyler Hero back with some picks, that might be a direction that the Bulls go in. I would actually like that. Tyler Hero is a very good offensive scorer. He kind of reminds me of what Zach Lavine does outside of the athleticism. Of course, that's the big difference. Tyler Hero, it has the potential to be a three-level scorer. You see he can score in bunches, and he scores over 20 points per game. And so that's not something that he's not capable of doing. But my thing is, are you just swapping out that same type of player, or are you looking for someone who could potentially get you to the level of competing in the playoffs? And that's what I'm really looking at is, are you looking to trade for just picks where we can actually go get somebody in the draft that could be a game changer? Or are you looking for a player who can impact the Bulls now in a way that Zach Lavine didn't? And that's kind of hard to gauge because Zach Lavine's value in the trade, it's good, but it's not great. It's not going to bring you somebody back that's just going to automatically take this team to newer heights. And that's the issue here is, what do you get from Zach Lavine? Another team that I wanted to talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers. They have obviously LeBron. They have Anthony Davis. They got Austin Reeves. They got Rui Hachimura. I think that maybe a trade package around Rui and the point guard escapes me right now. Their point guard that came from that initially was on the Lakers and came from the Nets and the Timberwolves. That's somebody that they can go for. But again, given the fact that they can't really be dealt yet until the new year, do you kind of have the patience for Zach Lavine to be traded later on rather than now? We'll see what AK and them have in store with that, but that could be something where you package a trade around Rui, some picks and some talented players that are a little bit younger. I think that Rui Hachimura has actually found himself now that he's been in a pivotal role with the Lakers coming from Washington. I think that he's kind of elevated his game a little bit, and that's somebody that you could possibly build around or a piece that could be put on this team around a Kobe White and Ayo and Vooch still being here and some other pieces as well, Alex Caruso. And so you kind of start with that package as well. But all in all, just overall, I just wanted to go over some of the just the stats of Zach Lavine. And because right now it seems as if he's regressing. And this is another reason why I say I think now is the time. Despite what Zach Lavine's potential can be and what he gives you, it almost seems as if there's a drop off. He's right now averaging 21.7 points for the season. We know the season's early. I'm not saying that the season isn't early. We know that a person can put up big numbers and the averages can balloon or they can regress. You can go either way. But with Zach, 21.7 points, 4.8 rebounds a game, and 3.0 assists a game. Thing is, he's only shooting 40% from the field. And so, again, is that a product of him just kind of like mailing it in? Something that I know PK and me talked about. He said that perhaps Zach Lavine is mailing it in. I'm of the belief that Zach Lavine is just having a bad start. However, I do think that he kind of sees the writing on the wall and that maybe this is the last version of this team that they have with DeMar, him, and Vooch being the three-headed, in a sense, monster to spirit this team offensively as the stars of the team. But I think that he's looking for greener pastures. And, he's just doing the professional thing. He hasn't said outright that, he wants a trade or he's looking to be traded. He's saying, hey, right now, I appreciate my time here. I'm looking forward to the next game. Of course, this was before they played the Orlando Magic, where they had a tough loss just yesterday. But he's looking to continue to say the right things. I'm with this team. I love this team. And for right now, I'm donning the Bulls jersey and I'm wearing number 8. So we'll see what happens. It's looking like it's going to be, honestly, a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of when, not that it actually won't happen. I think it's a matter of when. That's just my opinion. But I think that there will be a deal that gets done because this team is just not going anywhere. And you have other pieces that you can build around. You see the improvement in Kobe White. You see some of the improvement in Io as well. I think that if he gets put in a more important role, more minutes, and more of a share of the offense, I think that you could see a version of Io that you haven't seen since the Illinois days. Vooch is still here; he just re-upped, so I think you build around that. And then DeMar maybe not, may still be here. I know he wants to kind of end his career in Chicago. He said he loves the city, he loves the organization, he loves how it's been since he's been here, and so I think he's trying to stay if possible. And so you build around those players. Zach Lavine, and perhaps even Alex Caruso might be on the move. You never know. And so, how do you guys feel about that? I just think that maybe now is the time to kind of say our goodbyes to Zach before it's all said and done. Give him his flowers, though. Zach Lavine was a very good player for us. Averaged almost 28 points a game one season. Gave us a lot of really good moments, really good highlights. Exciting player to watch. Very good level score. But I think it's time now. And I think he even knows that maybe this is time for him to move on to perhaps a better team. And so, how do you guys feel about that? What team do you think that he should go to? What team do you think is actually in a position to bring back valuable and decent talent that kind of equates to what Zach Lavine gives another team? And so, leave your comments in the section below. I'll be down there with you, and I'll see you guys on the next ATS report.